IMTN data. You are about to. It is just about to go down. Right? Anyway, I wish you what you wish yourselves. Okay? In Ibadan, the lawyers to, hang on, before that, they have a minister for state for education. A woman who was actually telling us that Almajiri children, they are not out of school children. According to her, Almajiri is a form of education. And people should stop counting them as out of school children. In fact, they have started the propaganda of saying Almajiri school is similar to your kind of education you are getting from southern part of Nigeria. That what they need to do is to give money to those afars, those sheikhs or the sheikhs, give them money and stop the children from coming out to beg so that they can go and study Quran, go and study Ilekeu. And according to them, this is the policy of Tinubu. In the Ilekeu, they know they teach them science or mathematics. So now, if somebody graduates from Ilekeu as a Almajiri, who is going to employ that person? So very soon they are going to tell you that Tinubu has reduced the out-of-school children. They will soon tell you that. And tell you that the northern Nigeria no longer have out-of-school children because according to this minister.
What we are doing under the Renewed Hope agenda, under Education Renewed Hope, we have key priority areas that we are focusing. We are trying to come up with reformations that are long-lasting. Most of the time, there are different interventions by different governments. Most of these interventions are not actually leaving lasting solution to the problem. But from an insider now that understand what it takes to make this reformation change, to make all these changes, I can say that what we are working for now, what we are working on based on the renewed agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, if fully implemented, will actually lead to a lasting solution to the different problems we have in the education sector.
Okay, so give us an example of one of those reforms that will make a major dent.
We have about 6 key priority areas. Each of these key priority areas have different arms in terms of, as I said, we are looking for lasting solution. So it's not just to identify one thing to do, rather let's look at it holistically, different areas. For instance, one of the key issues we have is out-of-school children. What do we have on the ground to solve the issue of out-of-school children? We have different reforms that we are targeting to ensure that we enroll these children back to school. Let's take, for instance, there are solutions, but let's take the Almajiri Commission that we have, Almajiri Commission and out-of-school children. This commission has programs, and these programs they have are lasting programs. Apart from that, under the Almajiri education, because issue around out-of-school children, we have about 15 million that are considered out-of-school children. We have different data, but it depends on the data you are looking at. But basically, let's say 15 million out-of-school children that we have. These 15 million include Almajiri, but as we all are aware, everybody living in Nigeria knows that Almajiri have a system of education. Right. They have their own curriculum, they have their teachers, they have a system that they are using in educating this Almajiri. So the definition itself, we want to go back and redefine what do we mean by out-of-school children, because Almajiri are not part of that program. But then at the same time, for us to ensure that we help this Almajiri to fit into the general system that we have for education, let's go back and see about providing them with foundational learning, basic literacy, basic numeracy, even some aspect of digital training, and also skill acquisition program.
Because when you say that they have their own system of education, the question will be, how useful is that education for today's world?
Yes, and that's why we are coming up with this reformation. Let's give them skill training. If you are attending an Almajiri school, you are at the same time being taught the foundational learning. Literacy, numeracy, skill, and digital training. When I say literacy, numeracy, have the ability to read and write, do basic arithmetics, be able to operate simple digital tools, your phones, mobile phones, do all those, a lot of opportunities are out there. And then you'll be equipped with a skill That skill is meant to help you live a sustainable future. When you have a skill that you can actually be able to make use of to empower yourself and even your family, then you are being mainstreamed into the general system. So we have that plan on the ground.
Before you even come to the Almajiri system and the out-of-school children, I mean, in most parts of the world, education is regarded as a basic right, that is a fundamental right that every child should have. And so it's also used to measure the growth and development of every country. So why do you think it's difficult to make basic primary and secondary education compulsory and free in Nigeria? What is so difficult in achieving that?
It's compulsory is also free. Most of states have made that declaration that basic education is compulsory and free.
But in most states it's not free.
It depends. You know, we have the national and we have at subnational level. And I'm sure that there is a bill now in the assembly trying to pass this so that it can ensure that all the states have that also. But at the same time, let's have...
Oh dear. Have you seen where the sheikhs that give bowls, begging bowls to these children? Have you seen the facilities where they are educating these children in northern Nigeria before? So this all talk of trying to teach them numeracy, trying to teach them technology, we have to teach them how to use their phone apps, blah, 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 talk. Good luck, Egbere Jolantan built over 13,000 schools, Almajiri schools, across northern Nigeria. You heard me, 13,000 of them. Immediately, Bokwari came in. They closed all those schools. And before that, some of the schools in some of these communities, the Boko Haram were warning the parents that they must not send their children to those schools, or else they will kill those children. And the sheikhs, all of their sheikh and all that, they said Goodluck Egbere Jolantan was trying to force Western education on their children. Meanwhile, Almajiri schools, they are like the conventional schools, okay? Plus Quranic recitation, education, inclusive. But the sheikhs that have all these children, that uses them for begging, called Almajiri, they will have them recite Quran, okay? Then they will send them out to the street to go and beg. If you do not come back with substantial arms that you have collected, you are going to be starved. Children as young as 2 years old, 2 years, they are on the street begging. So they said Jonathan was taking them away from, they are taking the children away from them. And because of that, there was a massive campaign against Almajiri school. To this day, all the schools were shut down, all of them. Bokwari didn't build one single classroom for any of these children. Not a single classroom was built by Bokwari for 8 years. You can fact check me if you want to. Please do. Show me one picture of any Almajiri school built by Bokwari in 8 years. Not a single one. So you see that nonsense that lady was talking, that Ajia, is always the talking points. We have this plan, we have that plan, renew hope, the agenda, renew. So very soon the idea is to pay these sheikhs because they need the children for education, for election. You understand? And the only people that get paid for having as many of these children in their care, they are the sheikhs of northern Nigeria. They are the ones that will match out the underage voters. So the idea of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the renewed Shege, is to give some money to them. They say they want to treat them like a boarding house. So instead of the children going out to beg, let's start giving some money to some of these sheikhs. Give them some money. I mean, at least the reason why they are sending the children to go and beg is because they wanted money, Abi. Let's start giving them some allocations every month so that the number of these children going outside to beg will reduce and they can stay in a place and begin to recite the Quran. There's no formal education for them, nothing. All this curriculum, they are like a talking point of what Goodluck Ebere Jonathan developed. Baba, Jonathan developed a curriculum for the Almajiri, Baba. It was the first and the only time that ever existed in that contraption. Curriculum, they hired teachers that will teach these children in Hausa language, in their local languages. They don't have to speak English to them. They were teaching them in their local languages, Baba, or they stopped them from attending. This is true story, true life story. It got to a point that they said maybe they should start giving them money to attend schools. The schools were there. The children are not going. Then Boko Haram happened. And the rest is history today. The rest is history. So in Ibadan, remember the stampede in Ibadan? Now, yesterday, the case came up in one of the courts, Yagonku in Ibadan. And after the back and forth argument, you remember that they are still keeping Oriyomi Hamzat and Queen Naomi in prison as we speak because of the stampede, as they were remanded in prison. So their lawyer said there is actually no law to back the detention of this duo in prison. In his own words, by the way, listen.
My name is Adekunle Sobaloju.
Could you please
represent
okay.
The counsel for the applicant, which is Oriyomi Hamzat.
So,
can you let us into what transpired in the court room, please? Well, what we did was we filed an application that he should be admitted to bail pending arraignment. And the application was argued today. The court listened to all the various arguments, recommended to it, and ruling was reserved for the 13th of January. So principally we are saying he ought to be admitted on bail based on certain grounds which I would not want to expatiate on here.
And the issue of jurisdiction also came to foot, sir.
Yeah, we are saying by law that they ought not to be arraigned by a holding charge. That ordinarily they should have followed the provision of the law, which is section 292 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Law. That is, they should not detain or remand them in custody based on a holding charge. We have canvassed the point in court, and it is for the court to deliver a considered ruling on it.
There is an argument whether it is legal or illegal. What's your stand on that?
That is for the court to say. We have argued that for us, holding charge is unknown to law. We were arraigned for charges which we felt that the magistrate court has no jurisdiction to take. And in view of the fact that it has no jurisdiction, if they were to be remanded, they must be remanded pursuant to a proper application made to the court, either by the person having the authority having custody of Oriyomi or by the state.
Your name, sir?
I've told you my name. I said my name is Adekunle Sobaloju.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, on that note, we can now come to the end of this chat this evening. I am going to be back again tomorrow to continue the reading. For those of you who probably missed the first part of the reading today, the Harold Smith story, how Britain rigged the election rigged the census that eventually puts the chosen northern Nigeria on top of the rest of Nigeria. The genesis of our problems in that contraption, how it was all planned, orchestrated, and sustained by the supposed British in this book. We have started reading it. And you can join us again tomorrow afternoon. Okay? So, I want to say a big thank you to all of you again for your time and for listening. So please, like the broadcast if you haven't already. Share it as well. Again. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't, especially on YouTube. I am going to see you again when I see you, and that will be tomorrow afternoon during our brunch time. Take care of yourselves. And good night from here.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo
gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kí. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ̀ bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni